Hi all, so here is another sexy question because a lot of industry will ask if you apply for BA or some data related roles because it's not about data itself, it's still about how you approach it. So the question here is, what's your approach when you reconcile data from multiple systems? Once we deal with different resources or different systems, different sources, and we naturally have that answer, but a lot of people go wrong because a lot of people will go to execution part. For example, retrieve data from SAP, and then I retrieve data from, let's say, HR systems, and then I put in Excel, blah 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 blah. But here is 5 steps that I really want you to understand what the interviewer want to hear. Because here they don't want to listen to any other skills. They don't want to know how fancy your data analysis skills is or how fancy or how technical you are. They basically wanted to know your approach, your analytical thinking, or how you solve this problem, how you understand the business and then solve the problem. How do you bring your contribution to business value? So so step one, what I will position here is we need to clarify the business purpose. So you need to show that you think like a business analyst, not like a data person, because data person can be from India, can be from Philippines, can be outsourced. They're just great doers. And then you have to tell them why it matters, because nobody or no company wants to do reconciliation just for the purpose of doing reconciliation, right? So reconciliation is not an end in itself. It supports decisions like month-end reporting, revenue assurance, audit, risk management, etc., etc. So it's very much for those who particularly who have an accounting, finance related background. And then step two, we need to align definition and data ownership, which means we need to show the what. So you have to show that you understand that many issues come from misaligned definitions, not round numbers, because a lot of business. They don't have a lot of round numbers because people put numbers unless these these are fat fingers, so they put 100 to 1,000. But usually they are like, oh, when one department thinks, let's say, name means client name, and the other department might think, oh, name means, I don't know, it can be to C client name or to B client name or any other, or there's a second version of client names, or sometimes the database management is wrong. So they have the first version, let's say they grabbed client name from 2021 database. And then the second department looking at 2022 client name from the database. So they're not actually the round numbers, but let's say the misaligned definitions or different, just everyone's idea is not synced. So for example, from a finance or accounting perspective, and then if you say something like, oh, invoice amount or payment status, so let's say it can mean different things in different systems. So then the reconciliation will never be stable, right? So really defining the source of truth is what that matters. So what they want to hear is like, how do you, like from the surface, from the symptom, and then how do you dig deeper into the root cause? And then step three, that's where you start your hands-on and your how, which I call a build reconciliation logic, because they want to know your you're methodical and you can translate a business needs into a technical logic. So you can say something like, oh, match keywords, or I match keys. Keys means that it can be customer, it can be contract, it can be invoice IDs, it can be anything. And I validate calculations with, let's say, Excel, SQL, Power BI, whatever, to ensure the accuracy. And it can be repeated. So which means you have established a process. So whenever you leave the business, then somebody can take it on, right? And then step four, it really shows the next level. So step four is so important. It really shows the next level. Because here I call it root cause analysis and impact sizing, the so what part. So from consulting perspective, that's a so what part. So you don't stop at identifying variances. You don't stop at identifying issues. You actually diagnose them. And you turn findings into prioritized actions. That's so bloody valuable. And then step 5, you have the corrective action and then the controls, and then it's like the now what piece. So it's like, what you are. So moving forward, and then what you have done. And then like you focus on sustainable improvement and governance process, and then the best reconciliation process. You can also give a lesson. Say the best reconciliation process that reduce future variance through different controls, monitoring dashboards, and also clear ownership. So it's not about repeated firefighting. It's really about lessons that you learn. So step 4 and 5 is really what they want to know behind the technical side. So I will give you 60 seconds to 90 seconds, like the perfect answers. Just I take the example from one of the mentees' backgrounds. So that's from Fujifilm. So yeah, if we get this answer, if we get this question, and particularly, let's say you work with multiple departments, here I will put sales and finance. So I would say in reconciling data across multiple systems like sales, finance, procurement, whatever, and I take a structured approach to make sure we are solving the right problem and we prevent it from recurring. So first, I clarify the business purpose. Whether the reconciliation is for revenue accuracy, is for risk control, is it for month-end close, is that for audit readiness? And then somebody, like I remember some other people have financial planning background or any other background, and you can say something like that, that is suitable for your background. And then second, I align definitions and I align key fields across different systems. For example, how contract status, invoice amount, payment timing, they are recorded in Salesforce, SAP, whatever system versus the other platform. So it's like system, how different sources are recorded in system A and B and C. And I confirm the source of truth of each metric. That is so important. And then third, step 3, that's a technical part. So you can say something like, I build a reconciliation logic using unique identifiers like customer ID, contract ID, invoice number, customer name, blah, blah, blah. And then I validate calculations through Excel, Power BI, or SQL, whatever you want to put, whatever the JD wants. If the JD wants SQL, and you can say something, so I validate calculations through SQL, right? And then the fourth part. So fourth, I categorize and investigate discrepancies to identify root causes, such as menu setup errors, timing differences, integration gaps, or delayed customer payments. And then I quantify impacts into, let's say, dollar value, into annualized dollar value, so stakeholders can prioritize. And finally, then I work with sales, billing, finance, and systems to support the implementation of the corrective actions, and then set up monitoring dashboards and controls to detect abnormalities earlier. So you see, in that way, you show you are very proactive. So yeah, in that experience back from Fujifilm, this approach helped us to reduce discrepancies between Salesforce database and the finance leasing system by over 40%, and it helped to strengthen financial controls. And then the last sentence is your lessons learned. So yeah, here's overall how I would approach this question. And yeah, good luck with that.